Later on this month in July, we are going to be getting an in-game event featuring a whole bunch of Pikachu wearing costumes. I believe pretty much every single costume Pikachu that we've had up until this point will be featured, but there's going to be quite a few that are considered the rarest, and that's precisely what I wanted to talk about in this video. I'm going to be going over the 10 rarest versions of Pikachu wearing a costume that you need to target with this upcoming event. Hey, what's happening everyone? Count Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So today we're going to be doing a list video with the rarest costume Pikachus that we have in Pokemon Go. I believe every one of these are going to be featured with the upcoming 10th anniversary celebration event, but maybe some of them will not be. And I will say, when it comes to some of the rarest Pokemon you can have, it's not going to be legendaries or mythicals, it's going to be these costume Pikachus. Some of them are retired. You simply just cannot get them. They are not going to be coming back to the game, at least aside from this 10th anniversary event, and some of them are just quite rare because of just the length of time that has passed since they were first introduced. And I think if you were to have the shiny versions of any of these Pokemon, you have yourself a bona fide collector's item. So that's precisely what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about 10 costume Pikachus that are definitely collector's items, specifically their shiny forms. I mean, just in a vacuum, the 9 shiny versions of these costume Pikachus may not be considered rare, but the shiny versions are definitely one that not a lot of players are going to have. Alright, so let's kick things off with 2 entries that are essentially in the same boat. They're kind of interchangeable, and the reason for that is because both of them were released at the same time, and anytime one of them comes back, the other one tends to follow suit. And they're going to be Lucario Hat Pikachu and Rayquaza Hat Pikachu. Now, both of these are versions of Pikachu that I actually think a lot of players have always wanted. They're not necessarily super rare when it comes to what kind of costume Pikachus you can have, but a lot of players are always looking for them, especially the shiny versions. Not a lot of people will have it. I personally don't have any shinies of either of them, and anytime I'm trading with anyone, if they happen to have one offered, I will always go for it. But no one has offered it up, because that's how rare they are. Niantic hasn't brought them back in quite some time. I don't think they ever planned to bring them back, and I think because of that, getting the shiny versions of either of these are definitely something that a lot of players are going to struggle to do. Now, the next costume Pikachu is actually one that we've gotten recently, and that is going to be the Safari Hat Pikachu. The reason why this is considered rare is because it was only featured for certain in-person events, and Niantic has had no plans to bring it back. I think it's definitely one of those that not a lot of players will have, and if you happen to be lucky enough to have a shiny version of a Safari Hat Pikachu, you're definitely going to be among a very few number of players. It's again one of those Pokemon that I do often see get asked for in trades, and I don't think a lot of players will have it. So I will say Safari Hat Shiny Pikachu is definitely one of the rarest you can have. Now, the next entry on this list is often considered a holy grail, and that is going to be the black and red balloons flying Pikachu. Now, if you happen to have the shiny version of this, that is incredible, because this was a particular flying Pikachu variant that was only released in a small location, which not a lot of players actually traveled to, and it was for a limited time. If by some miracle you have a shiny version of this flying Pikachu, you probably have something that a percent of players actually have. Not counting spoofers. I'm sure there's plenty of spoofers who have this particular flying Pikachu, but we're not going to count that. But yeah, this is incredibly rare. I have not seen one myself. I haven't even seen the non-shiny versions. This is definitely one of the rarest costume Pikachus that has ever been released, and yeah, it would be really cool if they featured with the upcoming event, but I'm not really holding out any hope. Now, the next 2 entries on this list, I don't necessarily feel like are super rare, to be honest with you, but it is something that a lot of players are constantly asking for, and yeah, if you think about just the metrics, yeah, it would be considered rare, and that's going to be the shiny versions of Popstar Pikachu and Rockstar Pikachu. Of course, these are 2 variants of Pikachu that have been featured throughout a variety of different events because it seems like they're definitely fan favorites. And I think because of that, they are definitely considered rare. A lot of people are always looking for them. All right, the next entry on this list is one that I've been constantly looking for throughout my Pokemon Go career, and that is going to be the original Ash Hat Pikachu, the shiny version. I think a lot of people are always looking for this particular Pikachu because on top of it being iconic with the original Ash Hat, I think players do not realize just how rare it is because of the duration of since it was released. It was released several years ago, and we haven't really seen it return. And I think because of that, anytime players say they have a shiny version of this Pokemon, it's definitely brag-worthy. So I will say if you're going to be talking about the rarest costume Pikachus that are currently in the game, the original Ash Hat is definitely up there. And kind of along the same lines, and I will say some people will debate this, but I think one of the rarest Pikachus is the next entry, and that is going to be the shiny Straw Hat Pikachu. Now, the original release for the Straw Hat Pikachu was a tie-in to One Piece, the anime, and that is because the main character in that anime wears a straw hat. So releasing a Pikachu wearing a straw hat was definitely something iconic for anyone who was a fan of that franchise, and to get the shiny version of it, yeah, you did not have a lot of time to get it. I think that event was only for like a week, and they did bring it back, but it wasn't for a long time. So I will say this is definitely one of the rarer shiny variants of Pikachu, and anytime people offer it up for trades, it's definitely one that I would snap on. It's definitely a collector's item. All right, I know I'm going to be cheating here, but the next entry is going to be all of the different World Championships Pikachus. And just a note, they are definitely going to be available with the next upcoming 10th anniversary event. So if you're missing any of these, you will have an opportunity to get them. But let's say among all of them, the 2022 one is probably going to be the rarest just because of time. But yeah, the World Championship Pikachus, they were exclusive to every single year's event, and because of that, having any of them is definitely going to be considered quite rare, especially the shiny versions. And I guess along those lines, you could say that the currently available fossil Pikachu that you can get here in Chicago, that would be also considered rare, but anyone who attended Pokemon Go Fest here in Chicago, they actually got a timed research where you can get a bunch of them. So if you happen to have the shiny version, yeah, that might be rare, but I will say that's more of like an honorable mention. It's not necessarily one of the rarest right now. All right, and I guess that brings us to the last two entries, and these should be no surprise to anyone. First and foremost, we got Detective Hat Pikachu, the shiny version. That is often considered one of the rarest Pokemon in the game. The reason why I say that is because I believe the release of it was actually a mistake. I don't think Niantic intended to release this version of Pikachu, the shiny version. And I think because of that, if you happen to have a shiny Detective Hat Pikachu, wow, you are probably among the fewest number of players to actually have it. So that would definitely be considered one of the rarest, if not the rarest, because yeah, it's not something that was obtainable. Maybe it was, but if it was for a very short window of time. I mean, even Detective Hat Pikachu, that is a version of Pikachu that has not been released often, maybe twice in total, but yeah. The shiny version is definitely one that you will probably not see among a lot of players' collections. Alright, and this brings us to the number one rarest and coolest costume Pikachu that players probably are aware of, and this is definitely one that should not surprise you if you've been in the know, but it's going to be Fragment Hand Pikachu. Yeah, this is by far the rarest shiny version of Pikachu in the game, probably the rarest shiny in the game by far right now. It is going to be one that a lot of players are going to want, and it is often considered the holy grail of Pokemon Go. If you have a shiny Fragment Hat Pikachu, congratulations, you're among one of the fewest number of players, and the reason for that is because this was a part of a very small collab with the, I don't know the name of the designer, but it was basically for a weekend. You had maybe like 2 days to get this costume Pikachu, and if you happen to get the shiny version of it, yeah, you're among some of the fewest players who were lucky enough to get it. It's not made a return to the game ever since then. I don't even think it's going to be a part of this upcoming 10th anniversary event. It is incredibly rare, and yeah, it's definitely deserving of the title of Holy Grail. So if you're lucky enough to have the shiny version, congratulations. You have one of the rarest Pokemon in the game in your collection. and you should definitely hold on to it. All right, and there you go. This is the top 10 rarest costume Pikachus in the game right now, and I'm sure there's going to be additions to this list, and some of these are probably not going to be among the rarest later on down the road because they're probably going to make returns even with the upcoming 10th anniversary event. I think a bunch of the ones that I listed are going to be a part of that event, and that means there's going to be more shinies in the market, which is going to drop the rarity of some of these entries. But regardless, I think when it comes to that 10th anniversary event, if you see any of these versions of Pikachu, you should definitely go after them because as of right now, they are considered some of the rarest. But that's going to be it for this video. Definitely share your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about down below in the comments. What rare Pikachu do you have in your collection? And do you think that some of these entries are wrong? Do you feel like there's other Pikachus that are more deserving to be on this list? Definitely share what those are and let's have a great discussion. And thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it and you want to support my channel, best way you could do that is of course hitting the like button for this video, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already, and also turn on that notification bell so you know exactly when I upload videos. Also, make sure you check out the links in the description below. One of them is my Patreon page, and if you join my Patreon, I'm going to add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. So if you want to play Pokemon Go with me, definitely go and check it out. And that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, have yourself a great week, and I'll catch you in the next one.